instead of doing systems of equations, right, where we have two lines that intersect at one point, or we know that we can solve it mathematically, systems of equations, there's two equations, okay? Today what we're going to look at is systems of inequalities, okay, inequalities. Now, we did this right when we got back from Christmas break, okay? Remember we did solid, dotted, we shaded up if it was greater, down if it was less. If we divide it by a negative, what happens to that inequality symbol? It flips. Okay, so all of these things we have already talked about. And on the quizzes, you guys really did pretty good on this section of the quiz. Okay? Some of the other sections maybe not so well. But this section was actually a stronger section for many of you. Okay? So what we're doing today is we're just going to now do the same thing that we did, but now we're going to do a system, which means we're going to do two of them instead of one on the same grid. Okay? And our goal today is to figure out where do they overlap. That's why we have different colored pencils on our desk, okay? So we're going to kind of color code things so that you can see where do the two colors overlap. And that is going to be your final answer, okay? You cannot solve systems of inequalities with elimination and substitution. That can't happen. These have one answer because it's an equal sign, one answer. This, wherever they overlap, is going to have lots and lots and lots of answers. It's going to have infinitely many answers. Okay? Because keep in mind, those arrows tell us it's going on and on and on forever and ever and ever. Well, guess what? That shading goes on and on and on forever and ever and ever too. Okay? So, we're going to have lots of answers, but how we're going to show where our answer at is we're just going to have two lightly shaded areas, and where they overlap, that area should be darker. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. So, we're going to start, we're going to look at number one here in a minute, but I want to go ahead and start on number two. Okay? So, this is where you're going to be using colored pencils. On number two here, we're going to start graphing. Okay, so how do I start graphing this first one here? I'm going to color code. So if you want to put a dot next to the first one so you know what color that is, like a grid, so you're not confused, that would be a good idea. Okay, so my first one here is going to be purple. How would I start graphing this? Emma, we're going to start with you and just kind of go around the room.
We're going to start at 2 on the y-axis.
Okay.
And we want to go down to right 1.
Very good. Okay, so everybody start graphing here. Lots of dots. Now use that ruler. I gave you a ruler so you can have nice straight lines. Okay, Tatiana, is this going to be solid or dotted line? Very good. A dotted line. Okay? All right, so now we've got some shading. Okay, Tatiana, it says y is greater. So where do we shade when it says greater? Above. Good, we're going to go up. So you're going to lightly shade this whole area, okay, with your same color. Keep the same color. Just nice light shading there.
Wait, so do we need a pencil?
Yeah, you should be doing that with a color pencil.
That's not actually good.
No, you don't need that right now. Okay, now we're going to do the next. So pick up your other color. You might want to put a little dot or something next to it just so you know what color that is. Okay? Emmanuel, how are we going to start graphing this one?
Start at 1.
Yeah, start at 1 and then what?
Up 1, up 1.
Very good. Okay, up 1 over 1. Again, use your ruler to get nice straight lines.
Just go with like the same color each one.
Huh?
It's like,
Do you want me to give you a different color?
yes.
All right. Solid or dotted? Did we say that yet?
Solid.
Okay, good. It's going to be a solid line.
Thank you.
Okay, so solid. Ellie, shading down or up here? Good, because it's less than, so we're shading below. Yep. Okay, so I shaded my green, the whole side of the green. You're going to shade the whole side of that line. Okay, so you have to think of it as two separate things. You do the purple, in my case, the purple, and then you do the green. All right, and when you're doing the green, don't act like the purple's there. Okay, So now your final answer is that kind of, in my case, that grayish region there on the screen, okay? So this right here is going to be your final solutions. These are where all your answers lie, okay, in that area right there, okay? So where your two colors overlap, that's where your answers are going to be. So when I'm looking in this area right here, just the green area, those are not solutions because they're not overlapping. Obviously the white's not going to work at all. There's no answers even close to that one. And the light purple area, that's not going to work either. Okay, all of your answers will be in this dark shaded region right here. Okay, so an example of a test question would be like, does 2-3 work? Is 2-3 a solution for this systems of equations? And you would say, yeah, because it's in that dark region. Okay.
If it says on the line where it's not dotted, would that be a solution too?
No, that's a great question. So like an example, so this guy right here, he's not an answer because he's on that dotted line.
But on this, on that
And
one.
this guy right here, yes.
Okay.
So this right here would be a yes if you want to kind of check mark or whatever. These are yeses. A solid line's a yes. This guy right here does not work. Okay, great question. Anybody else have a question? Okay, let's try another one again real quick then. Number 3. Okay, so I'm going to make this one my green one. Okay, Clinton, you're up. How are we going to graph this one?
Start at
Start at -1?
positive
Okay, do a positive 1, and then what do you do?
right, upright one.
Up and right 1, very good. Okay, Kevin, solid or dotted?
Dotted.
Very good. All right, James, it says, are we going to shade up or down on this guy?
Down.
Okay, it says less than, so we would shade down. Very good. Okay, so shade everywhere below there. Okay, Evan, you're gonna be up on this. What do we need to do here first on this purple line before we can graph?
Subtract the 3x.
Yep, we're gonna solve for y, right? Solve for y. So he says subtract 3x, and he's right. So I have 4y greater than or equal to negative 3x plus 12. Then what would you do?
Divide 4.
Good. So we're gonna divide everything by 4. So you've got y is greater than or equal to negative 3/4 x plus 3. Okay? All right, Peyton, how are we gonna graph this? What do you think?
Positive 3 and then down 3 over 4.
Very good, good job. Okay, so down 3 over 4. Okay, Malcolm, solid or dotted here?
Solid.
Good, solid line, use your ruler there, because we only got 2 points. Okay, you have a question?
No.
All right, Caitlin,
Yeah.
we're gonna shade above or below?
Above.
Very good, shade above. All right, so Guadalupe, what's my final answer is gonna kind of be here?
The shady part.
Very good. All right, so all of my answers are gonna be in this region right here, okay? All right. Let's, we're gonna go backtrack now and look at number 1, okay? So now on number 1, guys, okay? I want you to keep in mind our little man, if you need to. Okay? So remember that we started talking about, when we came back from Christmas break, that here's our guy. Remember if we pop him in the nose? Okay? So that's our x's. Our x's are up and down, which makes our y's side to side. Right? Does that make sense? Okay? All right, so now that being said, y is greater than negative 1. So how am I going to graph that, Chloe?
You're gonna do, you go to -1 and you do a horizontal one.
Very good. Go at -1, horizontal. And is that going to be dotted or solid? Very good, dotted line. Okay. All right, Diana, am I gonna shade above or below here?
Below. Wait, no, above. I was looking at the wrong. Yeah, above.
Okay, good, it's greater, so everywhere above should be shaded. All right, Ben, ideas on the next one here?
Yeah, and use our second color, put it directly in the middle where you're,
Okay, then what kind of line are we gonna have?
vertical,
Very good, a vertical line, solid or dotted?
dotted.
Very good, all right, so we've got a dotted line,
I think number 4.
vertical, all right? Okay, so it's at 0, since it says it starts at 0, we've got it on the origin, we've got it at 0. We know that we talked about the vertical line being undefined, if we pop them in the nose, those are our X's, right, going up and down, okay? Now, which way do I shade on this?
You don't.
That way. Disagree, inequality, have to shade, okay? Not an equal sign, have to shade, and Caitlin's right, she says this way, okay? If nothing else, remember we talked about when we first came back from Christmas, about that it goes whichever the arrow's pointing,
Yeah.
okay? So we're gonna shade this side, the entire side of that green line. Okay, and again, where your two colors overlap is your solution. Okay? Alright, I want you guys to go ahead and try number 4 on your own. Okay? Number 4 on your own.